Welcome to the Wednesday webinar, License Management for PTC Creo Products. My name is Michael Wimberly, and I will be presenting the webinar today. So the overall agenda, of course, for the webinar is an introduction of Boundary Systems, myself and Boundary Systems, an overview of the topic, which of course is managing a licenses, PTC license, and then of course a demonstration on the different areas of managing a license. So once again, my name is Michael Wimberly. I am a technical specialist here at Boundary Systems. I have over 25 years of experience in working with PTC products, over 20 years of experience in training on PTC products. I am a certified trainer with Creo and Windchill classes, as well as a certified Windchill implementation specialist as well. Boundary Systems is a technology leader. We have several software partners that we work with, PTC, of course, being one of the main ones, but we also have Solid Thinking, eTraj, Autodesk, and other technical companies. Some of them will be listed on one of the overheads coming up. We've been the 16th fastest growing company in the greater Cleveland area, and we are also a part of the PDS Vision Group. What this does, it allows our footprint to be more of a global footprint. We had already expanded a little bit, but being a part of PDSVISION Group gave us a lot more global presence. So we partner with them and their other companies as well to go in and offer you services, not just in the States, but anywhere around the world. Our overall capabilities, product lifecycle management, data management, CAD design and consulting, simulation, and product development. On the right side of the screen are just a few of the companies that we worked with. This, of course, isn't everyone. These are just a few of them that we have listed. So, of course, we've worked with hundreds of companies at this point. If we haven't worked with you yet, we would love to be able to put your name up there too. Our overall mission as Boundary Systems, first off, is to have the most technical expertise on PTC products. So we do that by having a wide range of technical specialists. So we have people that are experts in different areas of PTC software. So we don't know everything as far as individual wise, but as a group, we know quite a bit of information when it comes to PTC products. So that gives us our technical expertise that we have desired. We also have a desire to understand the needs of our customers. So with our technical expertise, we can better understand what our customers need. So as we get into discussions with our customers, we can then go through and understand where it is they're trying to go, where they are now, where they're trying to go, and methods of getting there, which gives us our third point, which is to guarantee the success of every solution that we recommend to a customer. Because we've talked with you, we're going to go in and recommend what's best for you. If what you have works and you just need to implement more of that, we'll tell you that. If there's other pieces of software that you may need to purchase, then we'll tell you that as well. We're not going in and just trying to make you a dollar sign. We want to make sure that what you have works best. So once again, if that's selling you software, great. If that's services, great. Whatever it may be to go in and help you get to that next level, which is being able to decrease costs, decrease time to market, and also increase the quality of your product. So with all those things, the focus, if you notice, is yes, we do want to be experts in the software, but the focus of us is the customer. We want to make sure that we meet your needs, we guarantee the success of what you're doing, and we want to make sure that we get you to market better and you have a better quality product. So our focus is not on just what we do, it's on what you do and making sure you're the best at what you're doing as well, so we can be a part of that. What you see here are some of the companies, of course, that we work with. PTC, of course, being one of the main ones. We offer the suite of PTC software. We also work with Tacton, Modex 3D, Xformation, and I'm going to mention that one a little bit more simply because we are dealing with licensing. Xformation is a software that allows you to go through and monitor the licenses. So the uses of the license, how often they're being used, the expiration dates on them, if you're maxing out if people are getting denied access to licenses. Xformation can monitor that. That is a different piece of software, but because we are dealing with licensing, I did want to mention that a little bit more so that you are aware that that's there. We have done a webinar on that, so when you go to our YouTube page, you can actually go through and view that information as well. eTraj for exporting data out of Windchill into, or publishing data in Windchill or out of Windchill, whatever is necessary. ITI, ZWCAD is an alternate to AutoCAD, but a lot cheaper. So if you are maintaining AutoCAD seats, you need 1 or 2 seats of that, or even a lot of seats. We can go in and offer you ZWCAD for quite a substantial quite substantially less than AutoCAD. We have Keyshot, Sigmaxim, and then Symmetrics. All right, so once again, my name is Michael Wimberly. My email address is mwimberly@boundarysys.com. For any technical questions, feel free to reach out to me. We also have sales. You can reach out to them directly through sales@boundarysys.com, or if you do want to reach out to me, I can get you connected to the appropriate person. And of course, you can always see what we're up to by visiting our website at boundarysys.com, where you'll see the softwares that we offer. You'll also see any webinars that are coming up. We've started our hands-on workshops, so where we're having those, training classes, whatever it is that you want, including software. And then, of course, visit our YouTube channel. That's where this webinar will be located, more than likely by the end of the week, to be uploaded. And all the webinars that we've done in the past are also listed there. So if you go to our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube, search for Boundary Systems. You'll find us, subscribe to us, and you'll have access to, of course, any of our webinars that we've done in the past. You can do that, of course, without subscribing, but subscription will give you notices when we publish new stuff. All right, so topic itself is license management with for PTC Creo products. So a lot of us, if we've ever looked at licensing, we've seen this license file. This is currently my license file in my system. You can see by looking on there, if you're looking over on the left image, you can see underneath the expiration column that it actually does go in and show that my licenses are basically going to expire on Monday. So I will need to go through and update my license file. So this webinar kind of happens to come at the right time. So I can actually go through and update my licenses with you all so you can actually see the process. But on the left side will be a listing of all the actual modules that I have associated with my license. On the right side is a little more in-depth detail of those different items. So everything that's listed on the left side will be in more depth on the right side. When you're ready to go through and retrieve your licenses, we go into the license management tool on PTC's eSupport page. This is that actual page here where we're going to go, of course, into more detail on this. We're going to go into the license action area and give it a little more in-depth information as far as how to retrieve information. And I have some other documents that I'll be showing as well to help you be able to retrieve that information. And of course, once we've gone through and we've updated that information, we have the appropriate license, we want to go into our license server, whether it's on our local computer or whether or not it's an actual server within your company that everybody's pointing to, and we want to update that license file on the license server so the license file itself is up to date. And then after that, we want to go into the individual's systems if necessary to go through and update them as well, or we can go through and configure different licensing as well. But this is actually the setup inside of Creo, where we will go through and now customize and make sure that we're retrieving all the extensions that we have. If we have new ones, we definitely want to go through this. If licensing names have changed, you want to go through this as well. But this is also where we go through and manage that information. All right, so at this point, I'm going to jump right into a demo. Inside of here, the first thing that I want to pull up is my existing license file. So just so you can see that, so I will go into, I want to go in here first. So I'm going to go into my Flex admin license server. I'm going to go into here. And underneath there, there is a folder licensing. Now, this is assuming either you have it installed locally, or once again, you're looking at it on the server itself, but you have the license server installed because you have floating licenses. So under licenses, there's this file called license.dat. I will go in and open that up inside of Notepad Plus. And once again, when I go through and open that up, I can see exactly what I showed you on the overhead. There's all the licensing information. It is up to Creo 6, but once again, the expiration date for these is actually Monday coming up. Inside of here as well, and we'll see some additional information when we go into the actual license management area, but you'll see your customer number, there's an installation site, there's your host ID, there's your service contract number, that all this information can be used when we're actually inside of our website, on the management website. So at this point, I will go ahead to the actual website itself. So I'm now in the PTC website, and this is where we can go through and get started. Oh, one other piece as well. If you're ordering new software or you're updating your software, there's also one other thing that you may see. And the assumption is that you've seen this or someone in your company has seen this. But this is basically your software order fulfillment confirmation. So this is what you'll get from PTC that basically validates that you've purchased a license and everything has been processed. And now you can go through and get your software. Now for this one, I have gone through and basically removed any critical information, but what you will see in this form will be your customer number, you'll see the service contract number, you'll see the sales order number, and then the site number. All that information would normally be listed over here. I once again has removed it just so that information is not visible. And then you'll also see the same thing as you go down a little bit further. Same information, customer number, customer name, who it was attention to, the service contract number, when it was shipped, fax and email information, basically who received it in the email. And then of course, the carrier tracking number, PO, sales order number, all that information down here. And then the most important part is down here at the bottom. What information or what software have you purchased? So you can see down here that that what was purchased was the Creo Design Essentials with no PLM, and there was 5 licenses ordered. Now with that, you'll have the design, the home use licenses, the Essentials, Schematics Lite, the e-library, e-learning library, and then the Creo Simulation Essentials. So this is actually what comes with this Design Essentials package. So when we actually assign this to whatever computer we assign it to, that information will be assigned with it. So they'll get access to all that information. Now, that information, when we go into our e-support page, so you go to PTC's page, I can actually start all over again. But if you go to the PTC home page, over here on the top right is e-support. When you go into e-support, because I've already logged in, it logs me right in, but it would normally come up with a login screen for you to log in using your email address and of course your password to access PTC's website. So underneath here, you have manage licenses. So I'm going to go directly into the manage license area, and there we have it. So this is the managed license page. Inside of here is where we can go through and begin to reassociate or basically update our license files. So just real briefly on this home page or the landing page here, you have quick licensing and licensing itself. So basically, if you're ready to go through and license your product, it's a new product and you want to go through and actually license it. If you're not adding it to anything else, you can go in right here and enter in the order number or the service contract number. Enter it here, search, it will go in and pull up that information. Or if you want to go in and retrieve an existing license file for a computer, you can enter in the host ID right here and have it sent to you either in a zip file or in a text file, and that will be emailed directly to you. Over here on the right side is case loggers. This is actually directly for licensing. So if we want to go through and move a license and you're not sure how, or there's something that you need PTC to do for you specifically that you can't do here, you can always contact them in a case logger. This case history is specifically for license orders. So it's not your regular case history as far as if you submitted a case with PTC because you have a software issue. This is specifically for licensing. So this will show any licenses that you've basically retrieved, or the history of cases that you've opened. Anytime you go in and submit anything here, it will actually go through and create a case. So it will actually be assigned to you. And just so you can see case history, there's the case history. You can see that there have quite a few of them here by ordering different pieces of software. And each one will go through and show you, what information you went in and retrieved. So just a brief overview that you basically went in and retrieved licenses. So that's what that case history does. And then of course, feedback, you can always give them your feedback. And license repository, anything that you've retrieved in the last 7 days will also be shown there. Now, up here at the top, if you want to download new software, that's where you would do it here. If you are an administrator over your account, you may have some additional privileges. You may have just the ability to go through and download license files. So some of this may or may not be available to you as well. Resources, this is a nice resource as well. Of course, you can always find a sales rep. That's us. So you found us. So just contact me. And then, of course, licensing. I'm gonna go through and select on that. And that actually has quite a bit of information inside of it. So it has tutorials as far as new license management tour, PTC license management online guide, multiple languages, license management guidelines, configuring MathCAD Prime, ThingWorks, Windchill, downloading software, help topics, and then specific product information over here on the right side. So that's in the resource page, and of course, contact information as well. So that's directly in the resource page. If you want to go into there, asset management, that would be more of your hardware. And then we come over here to license actions. So you have license repository. If I go back to the home page again, this license repository is the same thing that we've seen here. And if we come over here to case logger, that case logger is the same thing that we see over here. So it's just on the landing page versus in the drop-down menu. Then when we're ready to go through and find out information, there's two methods of going in and finding information. One of them is going in and using license management reports, which will basically go through and give you a report of all the licenses that you have for your company. And then advanced search will allow you to go through and now filter down to by specific information. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go in and show you license management report. I'll go through and select on that. And this is basically going in and going to retrieve all the information for our company. Now I can go through and submit that request. It will then, after a few minutes, it will send me an email that shows me all that information. I've already downloaded that. So this is that example. So inside of here, it's showing me all of the pieces of software that we have. It's a lot of information. You do see your customer number, the actual customer name. There's the sales order numbers that are there. So you'll see that. So all the different sales orders that you have will be there. If the software is installed, it will show you the host ID. So what actual computer it's assigned to, and if you've gone through and given it a name as well, it will also be listed here as well. What you've ordered, the actual package that you ordered, and then of course a description of what that item is. And one of the most important things also is now the expiration date. So this is actually when that item will actually expire. So as you can see, all our new licenses are good for another year. So we need to go through. Those that haven't updated will update. Those of us that still need to, and you'll be a part of me updating mine, but I'll go through and I'll retrieve my latest license. And this is our service contract number. As you can see, for us, that number will be the same for all of our licenses. Only thing that will be different for a lot of you all, potentially, depending on how many licenses that you have, may be the actual sales order number. Because when you're buying them in different groupings or renewing them differently in different times, then the sales order numbers will be different, which will of course potentially give you a different expiration date. But other than that, there's the information. All right, so I'll go ahead and minimize that. So that's what we'll get when we go through to our license repository. So now if I go to my advanced search area, advanced search is now where I can go through and take the information that I have found here, whether it's a host ID from here, a sales order number from here, whatever it may be, I can use any of that information and now retrieve a license pack specifically for that particular computer. So there's a sales order number, there's a host ID, you can have asset tags, you can have your service contract number, that's there as well, subscription number or a product group. So all that information we can go through and use. The main two that I tell you that I use will either be sales order number or host ID. So for this one, I want to show you what's on a specific sales order number. Now, the thing that I also like that as I begin to type in the information, it will go through and show me the information and begin to filter it down by what I'm typing by. So this is the actual sales order number that I want to retrieve. I'm going to go through and do a search. And when I search down here at the bottom, it shows me what's available on that sales order number. So you see there's two tabs. There's available licenses and there's installed licenses. If I come over here to my available license, I can see once again, because we are VARs, we do have training packages. When I go through and expand that, it will go through and show me how many are available and how many have been ordered total. So right now we haven't gone through and installed anything on this one. Same thing down here. So we still have that information. Neither one of these have been installed anywhere just yet. But if I go over to my installed licenses, I can see for this sales order number that I do have some installed. Now, what's installed and where they're installed is right here. So I have this package, same package that we just looked at a moment ago, is installed on this computer. And that same package, once again, is installed on this computer. So from this sales order number, I have two of those or two license sets installed on there. If I need that license set because maybe we reinstall or we reformatted the computer, whatever was necessary, and we want to go in and retrieve that license file, we just simply put a check mark here and we simply go in and retrieve that license. It will then once again pull that license and send it to me in my email, and then I can go through and now reinstall it on another computer or on that computer again. We can also go through if this computer has been decommissioned and we want to go through and reassign this to a different computer. I also have the ability to go through and move it, or I have the ability to go in and simply say deinstall it, remove it. So now it becomes available versus installed. So depending on what you want to go through and do with that, you can go through and set that information up here. So that's available to you as well. And this is once again based on the sales ID. I'm sorry, a sales order. I can also go in and do it based off of a host ID. And the host ID that I'm going to use is actually going to be mine. So I'm going to go in, and this is my host ID here. I'm going to go through and search for the information here. So I can see the data, and it just simply shows me, of course, there's nothing available because I'm not looking for a sales order number. I'm looking specifically on this software, and there's the information I need to go through and retrieve. As you can see, this license pack is now available. It's updated, so I can now go through and retrieve this new license pack. So it shows me that it has been renewed because our purchase order and everything went through, our licenses are now updated, and I just simply need to go through and retrieve that information. So I will go through and request it. It will now go through and send that to me through an email. Now, one of the questions that I always get, I won't say always, I get a lot, is when you get your license file from PTC and you view it, there's always two licenses. What's the difference? Glad you asked. So you have one that doesn't have an ending on it. You have another one that has standard. I'm going to open these both up inside of Notepad. So there's this one, and sorry, go back. And I'm going to now open up this one. All right. So the difference between your standard license and the regular license is simply a single word, and that word is borrow. Inside of your non-standard license file, it has the ability for you to go through and borrow that license. If you're not familiar with borrowing, what this allows you to do, it allows you to basically check out a license from your server for a period of time. This is beneficial when you are working on a license server and everybody's pointing to the same license server, but I need to go off site, but I also need Creo to work. So what I'm able to do is basically borrow this license for 24 hours, 3 days, whatever it is I need it for. I can go through and borrow that license. And now I can open up this license offline and not be connected to the license server. Now, for that license, it will show as occupied on our license server. So it won't be able to be used by anyone else because I have it checked out. Or once again, I have it borrowed. With me having it borrowed, that borrowing will go until midnight of that final day. Once midnight hits, then my borrowed license now is removed, and that license now becomes available on the server again, which means now when I go in my disconnected computer, when I go to open up Creo, it's not going to open because it won't be able to retrieve a license. But the borrowing license will allow you to go through and now borrow a license for a period of time and be able to access Creo without being on the network. If you install that one, fine. If you don't, if you look at your standard license just simply doesn't have borrow in it. If you never borrow, not a problem. If you do borrow, then of course you will need the other one. So I tell people, hey, it doesn't hurt to install the borrowing license just in case somewhere down the line you do need it. You may not ever think you need it right now, but now all of a sudden you need to go on site of a customer and they can't get in, you can't get out through their network. You can't VPN in, you can't do any of that, but you still need to access Creo. And it may not happen right now, but it may happen some way down the line. So installing the regular license doesn't hurt anything. If you never use the borrowing function, that's okay too. But it's there if for some reason you actually need it. All right. So with that being said, we can now see that the license file that I have is currently available until March of 2021. So this is my latest license file. So now I want to go through and update my license server. So with that, I'm going to come back here under my programs. I'm going to go back under the Flex admin, and then I'm going to go directly into the bin directory, and I'm going to go in and run the reconfiguration. Now, what it's showing right now is, of course, because it's an admin, it's asking me if I want to go through and run through that. Now, of course, because it's already installed, I'm just going to go through and update the installation. So I'm going to go in next, and of course, accept everything. Next again. Now, here is my current license file or the current connection. I'm going to go back to my licensing again. Nope. And then I'm going to go back into my current license file. And what I'm going to do, sorry, I do want to keep that on the screen so we can see it all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to take this current connection. I'm going to simply go in and remove it. Now, all I'm going to do is now add my new license file back in there. So once again, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to just simply take it and drag it. I'm going to drag it to this location here. What it's going to do is going to go through, rerun the installation on that to go through and update the license file. And there we have it. Done. So I'll go ahead and finish. And now my license server is updated. How do I know? Because when I come back to here, I'll refresh it, which is still my license file. And you can see that this has been updated at 12:03. So now when I go through and I view this inside of my Notepad Plus, I can now see that my expiration dates have now been updated. So now my license file is now good through next year. Wonderful. So I'll go ahead and close that out. Now, the other thing that you may have to do if you're adding new licenses or you're trying to reconfigure your licenses, you may have to go through and do the setup inside of Creo as well. So once again, when you're updating from your perpetual licenses to your subscription licenses, or just going between different packages, the naming of some of the licenses may change. So you may need to go through and rerun the setup to go through and make sure the names are correct or is pointing to the correct name. Or once again, if you are going in and adding extensions, you want to do that as well. So I'm going right into parametric, into the bin directory, and now I'm going into reconfigure again. Yes, to go through and allow the changes. And now I'm going into just reconfiguring my software. Once again, there's the actual license server, so it's still connected. Everything is good. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to show you one other thing inside of here. I mentioned the bottom section here. If you are going in and you're assigning your licenses for the first time on this computer, I know I went through PTC's website and I went in and set up everything inside of here. I did it by sales order number or host ID, but mainly sales order number for what I'm referring to now. Inside of Creo, in your installation or in the license server installation, I can come up here to the top and also type in the sales order number. So when I type in that sales order number, it will, of course, at this point, ask for my login information to validate that I am authorized to retrieve the license file. But I can now go through and retrieve it and have PTC create the license file and install the software at the same time in this installation. So although I had mine already installed, so it was just as easy for me to go through and recreate it or re-retrieve it and then just simply replace it. If this is a brand new installation, then you can go through and just simply use that sales order number and then retrieve it directly here. So you don't have to go directly to PTC's website. I can actually do it through the installation of the software. Once again, whether I'm running it in Creo or whether I'm running the actual license server itself installation setup. So I did want to mention that, but this is available up here as well to use a sales order number. All right. Now with that, once again, down here is the license server itself. So I'll go ahead and select next. Now, inside of here is our current commands. So this is the Creo parametric. This is software that I'm dealing with currently. If I had any other software in here, would also be available. But right now I'm just dealing with Creo. So if there's nothing for me to do, I would just go ahead and update the information and be good. Or I would go in and customize as so. There's my Creo, and I want to go in and customize my commands. So inside of here is my default installation. So when I go in and I double click Creo and it starts Creo parametric, this is what it's running. I'm going to go in and select edit. And inside of here, you can see everything that is being retrieved. So right now, because this is my default installation, it's running my rep license and it's pulling all these extensions. So everything is being loaded all at one time. That's great. If that's what I want, I'll keep it that way. Great, great, great. and then I can go in and complete my installation. But let's just say, for instance, there are times we may have a limited number of licenses. So we want to go through and we want to use full simulation, or we want to go through and use options modeler, or any of those different things that are specific for a license. So what I can do, this one is retrieving everything. I can come over here and create a new command that will pull just specific information. So I'm going to go ahead and say add another configuration. I'm going to go in and call this one basic. And then this one is going to be Creo parametric basic. Now with that, I'm not going to add any extensions. Everything else is going to stay over on the left side, and I'm only going to have it retrieve my rep license. I'll go ahead and say okay. And there it is. So there's parametric, there's basic, and then there's Creo parametric basic for the installation. If I wanted to go through and add more that added different installations or different license options, I could do that and just continue to go through and add options inside of here. So there's no limitation that I'm aware of as far as being able to go through and add configuration options. So I'll go ahead and select OK here, and then I'll go ahead and finish the installation. Everything is finished. Great. I'm going to go back to my desktop, which is where my Creo Parametric 6.2 is, and I'm going to go ahead and start it up. Now, because of that new configuration, I now get this dialog box. This dialog box now allows me to pick from the configuration options that I set up. So there's my default one, which pulls everything. And here's my basic one, which will only go in and pull my rep license. So I'm going to go ahead and do basic, select start. Give it a few moments to go through and set it up or start it up. And there we have it. So to see what I've retrieved, I can go into my file, help, system information, and I can see the information as far as there's a license server, there's the license name that's actually being retrieved, and then here are the actual options that are currently installed, or I'm sorry, retrieved. So we can see that listing here. I'll go ahead and I'll close this out, and I'll retrieve it again. And this time I'm going to go in and do the default one, which is going to retrieve everything. This does come up and show me the additional options that I've installed or that it's retrieved. So everything has been retrieved. And when I go back up to my file, help, system information, there's still my core license that it retrieved, but you can see all the additional options that it also retrieved. So there's quite a bit more because I told it to go through and retrieve everything. All right, so for the most part, that's your licensing information. So the core piece of it, going back into PTC's website, is when you're inside of here. So like I said, there's two options, two main options that I use is the advanced search if I'm looking for something specific, or license repository, which will go through and show me all the licenses that we have and whether or not those licenses are installed or not. So you can see over here, of course, there's a status that says not installed, but also when you look for host ID, because the host ID is blank, then you won't see the information here either. Also keep in mind that any brand new licenses that you have, if they're not installed, that will be listed here as well. So when you do your actual license report, it will go through and show you all the licenses that you have, and once again the status, whether or not they're installed or not installed, and of course the actual expiration date for them. So you can see we have quite a few licenses available or assigned to us, but as you can see, most of them are assigned. We have a few that aren't, just depends on what they're actually associated with, the software piece, but all of our core stuff is assigned, whether it's individual techs or training laptops, whatever it may be. All right, so this is once again the report that you'll get, but as I said, the main two areas that you will look at will be the advanced search, basically using the host ID and the sales order number. And remember that information is available here in your order fulfillment document. So all that information will be listed here. You can also get that information from your license file. So there's your service contract number. You can use that as well. There's your host ID. So you can always go through and search by that as well. Your customer number, and of course, the install site as well, if you want to use that. All right, at this point, I will open up the floor to any questions. If you have any questions, you can enter those questions into the questions area inside of the webinar dialog box. If this is anything that you need assistance with, even just walking back through it, you can of course contact us at any time. I know there's quite a few customers that just will go through and send us information, and we'll go through and do this for them, just for time's sake. But you do have the ability, if once again your account has the proper permissions, to go through and do this. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions coming through. Oh, wait a minute. There is one. I can read it. Yes, this video will definitely be posted. As I mentioned before, it will be posted on our YouTube channel. It should be up there by the end of the week at the latest. But it will definitely be posted on our YouTube channel, so you can go back to this for references when you want to go through and see it. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Michael Wimberly, at mwimberly@boundarysys.com. Any sales questions, of course, you can go through and open up or send a email to them at sales@boundarysys.com. As I mentioned before, definitely visit our website for any upcoming webinars, hands-on workshops, training classes, software information, and definitely visit our YouTube channel. There's a lot of good information inside of our YouTube channel, and I'm not just saying that because it's our YouTube channel. There is a lot of good information inside of there. We've actually been told that by customers as well, which is great for us. That's why we continue to do it, to give you the good information that you guys need. So thank you for your time, and have a great remainder of your day.